It's our pleasure to be joined today on the radio by State Senator Jason Crowell. He represents the 27th District as a Republican, covering parts of Bollinger, Cape, Madison, Mississippi, Perry, and Scott counties. And Senator, another session of the legislature is underway. Did things get off to a good start this week?
I think so. We were able to get the ceremonial phase of kicking off in a General Assembly behind us, and now it's to the work of the people. And we'll start that bright and early Monday morning and continue on through till the end of May.
These are definitely trying times for everyone in state government, aren't they?
Well, I think they are interesting times in state government, and as the Chinese have said, may you live in interesting times. With tough economic climates of the state of Missouri and this country come opportunities and chances to change things. And really what I hope we do is we really address this fundamental lesson that I think we were all told growing up. If you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. And in the state of Missouri, we no longer can do what we always did in the past just because that's the way we did it in the past. So I'm very, very hopeful that we'll be able to really kick off what President Pro Tem Mayor has said he would like to see the leadership begin in this rebooting of state government and really rethinking about how we do the people's business in state government, what role state government should properly play. And I think that's really going to dominate much of the General Assembly's time this legislative session.
When it comes to balancing that budget, are you going to have to approach this with somewhat of an open mind, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, everything's on the table, I think, from where we are, with the exception of tax increases. This is not a time in which to raise taxes on Missourians, and I will not support a tax increase. And I think both Speaker Tilley on the House side as well as President Pro Tem Mayor and even the governor have all said we will not raise taxes on Missourians, and we will live within our means, and we'll reinvent government. And I think it's time that we do that, and we have a grown-up conversation on very practical and real savings that occur. Last year, I sponsored a pension reform bill that would save Missourians $1 billion over the last 10 years. And it was very difficult to get that through, but we got it through. It's going to take more action like that, I think, in this coming General Assembly that Missourians demand and expect, and hopefully we'll be able to deliver.
Well, Senator, what about this session? What are some bills you've introduced?
Well, I think everything is going to revolve around a budget, and I plan to play an active role in having a dialogue with Mr. and Mrs. Missouri taxpayer that's out there. One area that I want to see is continued tax credit reform. We spend almost $700 million a year on tax credits, and this is nothing more than the government picking winners and losers and handing out special treats to individual people, whether it's our Missouri's own Cash for Clunkers program called Historic Preservation Tax Credits, or the outlandish expenditures that we do in the name of low-income housing. We need to reform those areas, and it's time we have an adult conversation about that. I think many Missourians would be shocked to know that we provide $58 million a year in property tax credit relief to people that don't even pay property tax. That's right. The state of Missouri hands out $58 million a year in circuit breaker tax credit relief to people that rent apartments that don't pay property tax. And many of those people are living in low-income housing that the Missouri taxpayers already subsidized in the form of low-income housing tax credits. And it's time that we look at this and we say that these wealth redistribution programs that are bankrupting our state and preventing us from being able to provide a world-class educational opportunity to our children, both on the K through 12 level and the higher education level, have got to stop. And just because there's powerful special interests, and just because there's a whole lot of lobbyists that are getting paid a whole lot of money to keep these special perks in the budget or in the tax code, doesn't mean it's in the best interest of all Missourians. And that's the dialogue that I think is going to dominate the General Assembly, and I hope I can continue to raise and contribute a meaningful way to moving forward this legislative session.
Well, Senator, it looks like it's going to be a very interesting session indeed, and we will look forward to visiting with you not just this week, but throughout the session as you keep us updated with what's going on, what's directly going to impact folks in Bollinger, Cape, Madison, Mississippi, Perry, and Scott counties, as well as the rest of the state of Missouri. But we sure do appreciate your insight this week.
Hey, thank you so very much, and it's an honor to be with you.
And again, that's our legislative report this week with State Senator